Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. Belinda here from Visualized NZ. And yay, it's time for Trashcraft Tuesday. So as per normal, I'm working with something that would normally be thrown out, or once its life has been used, we ditch it or burn it or do something, put it in the recycling bin. So today I am going to be working with paper bag. Now, I have done a journal cover with paper bag before, but I've got a few of these. Like, I've been collecting them up because, for one, they are very thick brown paper, so really nice and sturdy. Oh, I just noticed this one's got a staple in it, so I will just take that staple out now. Excuse me, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. Still a journal, but not a cover this time. So let me just first break this bag down. So first I want to remove the handles, and just getting rid of the bits of paper that hold the handles in. Sorry, you can't see this because it's inside the bag at the moment. Just peeling off enough of the paper that's holding the handles in so I can get the handles out. So there we go, one handle out, and the other one. So it depends how your paper bag is constructed as to how you take the handles out. Some are built into the bag itself, but these ones are glued in between a couple of extra strips of paper. So just removing those extra strips of paper as much as possible allows you to break the handle out of there. And then you get these bits of paper that were holding it in stuck to it, which peel off easily enough. So there we go. There's the two handles out. And I've still got extra paper in here where they were glued in. So, and bits of glue and things. I have already broken down a bag because I wanted to see whether what I had in mind would work. So I've already got one prepared, but I just wanted to see you to see me do this part in case you didn't know how to sort of start. You do need to work kind of carefully so that you're not damaging the bag too much, but again, depending on its construction, I'm sorry about the noise, but that's okay. Depending upon its construction and the glue used and things, how much damage is going to happen. And just do it with the knowledge that, you know, it might get damaged, and that's okay. Work with what you've got once you've broken it down. Gosh, very noisy, isn't it? Oh, this bit's glued down quite firmly. Right, almost there. Right. I'm just going to oops, I torn it a bit there. It's all good. Flatten it out. Now, I believe this one is smaller than the one I've already prepared, because you can get them in different sizes. So this is a shorter one. I think it's probably the same, possibly the same width, but it's definitely not as big, because the one that I've previously broken down I got twice the height out of. I think, I can't remember which way it went now. No, this way, so 1.5 maybe the height. So this one is smaller, which means I can discard the bits that are ruined, basically. Now, just want to work out the width, the best way of doing this. So I could go this way and probably get 2. Now, I'm not worried if my pages are different sizes. It's not a problem in the least. Right, so definitely better to go this way. I'm going to get 4 pages out this way, whereas if I go this way, I'm going to get 2, because there's only a short bit left here. So think about which way you want to cut it. Now, there's a tear up here. I might just need to work with the tear and include it in the page. Or maybe I can make use of the bottom where the glue is. I don't know. We'll take this side first. I'm going to turn my mat around. And what I found easiest for this is lining up my edge here on the very edge of my grids on my cutting mat, and then working out how high my pages are. So to this it takes me to 6, so that's not 6 centimeters in terms of how wide this is, it's just the line that I've chosen, so line number 6. And that's just the easiest way I found of sort of keeping them consistent sizing. And I'm just going to cut down that line with my craft knife. Now this thick paper does, I've found, take a couple of passes with the knife. Usually the top one comes away okay, sometimes. And then the second bottom layer needs an extra cut. And I think I'm striking some glue in there that's, yeah, that's where the handles were, that are just providing an extra layer as well that needs to be cut through. Or a couple of layers in fact. Right, so this is my first bit. And I'm just going to come in here, and this is the paper that was holding the handles in. So I've taken most of the top one off, but I've still got quite a bit stuck on here, so I'm just going to peel off as much as possible. I haven't actually told you what I'm doing yet, apart from that it's journal related. Oh well, bear with me, I will get there. Just doing the prep work. I need to do this, and then I'll grab across the project. And yeah, I'll get to that in a minute when I grab it across. I'll explain the rest, because then it will make more sense than me trying to explain it without showing you at the same time. Right. Not too worried about getting all the paper, but I do want to get as much of the glue, dried glue, off as possible. So where there's lumps of it, just I think that's good now, and just a little bit on this other side. So just a bit of clean-up work to prepare the papers. So I'm not making a cover, but I am making pages. So if that helps you sort of work out where I'm heading. Okay, so grab back my other page that I've already prepared. And I don't mind this little serrated edge. I think that's kind of fun. So absolutely keep that in. No need to chop it off unless you don't like it. Right, so I'm just lining up the edge there and cut through that. Right, so I think this, the way I've chosen to cut it minimises what wastage there is as well. Okay, so from here, these are giant pages. Now if you want to giant pages, then you could just cut down more bags and leave them at this size, which is an A4. That's an A4 size. But I want to work with A5, which is half the size of A4 for this, what I'm making. So I'm just going to make my blade nice and long, so I've got lots of blades sticking out, and I've got my fold along here, and I'm just going to slide my knife in and slice along that fold line, being very careful where you have your hand and how you're cutting. You don't need to put a lot of pressure on, just let the knife work its way along that fold line. Now it will go off and sort of cut slightly under or over. I don't care. I think it's fine. It doesn't matter. And it generally will only go a little bit. The thicker the paper, the truer it will slide. So the thinner the paper, the more likely it is to go slightly askew. There's a little tip for you. Right, so now I've got 2 more pages at the ready. Actually, I've got 2 A4 pages, okay, instead of 1 A4 page folded in half, which is A3. I hope that makes sense to you. I know what I'm saying, but I'm not sure if I'm explaining it very well. But I do want A5 pages, and I want A5 single pages. I don't want them folded in half. So like in a journal, you would fold your A4 in half and have that as your page in your journal. So it's still joined. I don't want it still joined. I want it separated. So again, I'm going to go in my knife and slice it through the middle there, along that fold line. So we've got 2 A5 bits of paper. Let's do the same thing with this other one. And the other half of this bag that I've just broken down, I will do off camera, so you don't have to worry about me fiddling around with peeling off glue and stuff, because I've done enough to show you the process up to this point. So I'm just going to do the other half off camera after I stop filming, most likely. Right, and now I'll do this one that I had done earlier. Now this is different paper, it's slightly different in colour. It's also different thickness. This one I've just been doing is actually quite a bit thicker than this one, but they're both thick. Like they're both, I don't know what weight they'd be, but quite thick paper. And that's why I love keeping them, because it's such beautiful paper to do lots of different things with. Okay, so there we go. I've got enough now to work with to show you what the project is. So let me just grab it across. Oops, losing bits here. And I've got some more pages that I need to cut down as well from my preparation earlier. Right, so this, you're probably familiar with this type of thing. It's a folio. It's absolutely filthy. I need to clean it. I picked it up for free at the book sale that I went to recently, and it had some items still in it, some pages and these dividers, and I just loved the dividers and thought I wanted the dividers because they're a thin cardstock, thick paper, I don't know, something like that anyway. And I've got this plastic down the spine to protect the rings. But you can get lots of different styles of these types of folios, and it had this cool little plastic pocket thing too that you can just slide something into there and it sits in on the ring binder. I'm sure we've actually got something like this already at home floating around, but I really like this one. It's got 2 little pockets down here and this bigger pocket up here, and then in the back it's got another pocket. See, it's absolutely filthy, and it's got a little loop for, oh gross, so dirty, this loop here to hold your pen, and I thought that was super cool. And it's, other than being dirty, it's in really good condition. So I want to make pages to put in here. I could have left the pages that were in there, which are kind of just your generic diary, and I think it's a 7 habits from the stuff that's in here that I can tell. 7 habits, yeah, 7 habits organizer. So I could leave those in and use those to work on, but they're quite, oh, I guess they're not too thin, but thinnish. And I wanted, for this, I wanted something that was plainer to work with. And brown paper, I've got, you know, paper bags. It's something you accumulate. You go to the supermarket, you've forgotten your bag, so you pick up one of the paper bags. Or you get into the supermarket and you've left them in the car, so you just grab another paper bag. Or you're on your way home from work and you thought, oh, I need to pick up something, and you don't have bags with you, so you grab another paper bag. They just kind of, yeah, they happen. And then it's like, well, what do you do with all these paper bags that you keep forgetting that you've got to put in the car to take to the supermarket next time you go? At least that's how it works here in New Zealand and in our household. And then when I get given presents, I often get things or clothing or something given to me from people. It often arrives in paper bags. So no shortage of it. And if you don't have any, then I think they're like 50 cents each in New Zealand supermarkets at the checkout. Maybe 20 cents. I don't know. I think they used to be 20 and then they went up. But you could go grab yourself a few bags for, you know, a couple of dollars and have lots of material to do something like this with. So what I'm doing is I'm making pages to go in here, and I'm hoping to do the Marguerite Miller Collage Challenge next year. If you haven't heard of that challenge, she runs it over on Mighty Networks, and you can buy the prompts. So I'm waiting for next year's prompts to come out. And once a week, every week, there's a different set of prompts, and you create a collage on those prompts. And I've been watching for, I think, all year. I've been watching various people participate and been really intrigued in it. And I would like to do it next year. And one of the people I watch, Gail Agostinelli, who I'm sure you've heard me talk about before, she does it in a ring binder, different style of ring binder. She uses bigger pages, but I like keeping it small, and because I like small things. I just like working with small things. So I wanted a smaller format, but I did like the ring binder format, so you can take the page out, work on it, and then pop it back in. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to create my own ring binder folio collage book for next year. And that's my hope, that I can go ahead and get those prompts and work in it. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to dress up the front or not. Definitely clean it. I might add some stickers or something. I mean, it's in really good condition. It's a bit boring, but yeah, I don't know. It's not terribly important to me because it's identifiable as a specific thing. So we've got all these holes. Like, how do you get the holes? Fortunately, this did have the pages already in it. Now, if you have one that doesn't have pages in it, then just prepare yourself a template by laying a bit of paper in the right position. Grab a pencil or a pen or something and make marks where those holes are lined up with. Pretty simple, not too bad. In this case, I'm using one of the dividers that came with the folio, and I'm just lining it up. My pages are shorter than the ones that came with it. Just lining it up and using my little single hole punch to punch along the holes. So my punch is slightly smaller than the holes, and I'm just lining it up against the bottom edge so that they all sort of more or less line up nicely. There we go. I mean, it's a bit of a faff, you know, by the time I've done that for however 52 weeks of the year, 52 pages. I'll probably be getting a bit sick of doing that, but you can do more than one sheet at once. And then in it goes. And look at that beautiful, beautiful pages all ready to create collages on. And I wanted the plainer paper, so like this has got a branding on it and everything. Easy enough to cover up, but basically I wanted the nice pages to work on. And I can work on both sides of the pages, so I probably only need 26 pages, unless I do it like for 2 years and do 52, so I can do it, keep it for 2 years. I don't know, we'll see how many fit. I don't know, we'll work that one out. But that's my project for today, so I'm going to go ahead and punch up some more, and then I'll come back in a little bit and show you what it's looking like. So be back soon. Okay, I'm back. I have cut up the whole 2 bags that I had, and I've got a total of 16 pages. So I need to grab another bag or 2, probably 2, and cut those up to complete. And I'm thinking at this stage that I'm going to do 26 pages and do 1 year, because I think by the time these are collaged up, they're going to be quite thick. So if I do have room at the end of, after doing a year, then I can go ahead and add more pages if needed, but otherwise I would go to all the work of preparing the pages and then they won't fit. So I think I'll do a total of 26 and then be all ready to go. I did learn a couple of things. Punching more than one of these sheets at a time was too hard on my hand. Like, it was doable, but I had to put a lot of force. So it was actually easier and quicker to do them singly, and it's fine, it doesn't take very long. Also found that if you're doing 2 at once, then the potential for one of the sheets to slide is quite high. So like, I had that problem here, and you won't be able to see with it in there, and the hole went askew, so I had to punch a second hole to catch it. And on this smaller bag that I was using, there's actually a seam where there's 2 layers of the paper, and that's super hard to punch through as well, especially if you're trying to punch 2 sheets together. So there's one of my tips that yeah, it's easier. Oh, that pulls down. Oh, look, that's an easier way to open them, isn't it? Does it shut them as well? Oh, I just learnt something. Sorry. I didn't realise that these little tabs at the front open and shut these rather than, you know, pulling them that way. Gosh, they didn't have them like those in my school days. You had to pull them apart manually, or the lever, you know, on the big files for, like, you had for school. You had the lever. But yeah, anyway, that's just my little personal discovery of the day. Yeah, so I hope you like this idea. If you don't want to put them in a folio, then you can certainly leave them as an A4 folded in half and just bind them together as you would any other journal. Make a cover for it, or make a cover out of the brown paper bag and put them all inside the bag. But that's an idea for you. This is how I've chosen to bring it about, and I hope you enjoyed this Trashcraft Tuesday video. I will see you back for the next one. Bye for now.